Good morning. Happy Sunday. Yes, I'm showing up on a Sunday today. I have a special episode of the Karen Smith Fraser podcast. And for those who are joining me for the first time, my name is Karen Smith Fraser, and welcome to the Karen Smith Fraser podcast. I help women and men who feel stuck, unfulfilled in what they're doing, and called to step into their authentic selves. Go from feeling that stuck feeling to feeling confident and with tools to move on in a direction that feels just more right for them. But today I am going to be welcoming a guest, and I got my notes here. I am a couple of weeks ago on my podcast, I said that I encourage folks to welcome the stranger in 2026. And I said that I would be welcoming some strangers onto the podcast. Now, granted, strangers don't have to be people you don't know. But for you, some people may not know my guests. So that's what we're going to do. Now, oftentimes on my podcast, I talk about how when we make just some things that go into making transitions. And a lot of times fear is what stops us from going for it. And so as you listen to the podcast, just be open to new, open to growth, and to welcoming that stranger, which can be something new, can be something you haven't done before, or it can be a person. So without further ado, I'm going to welcome to the stage my guest, Elvis Fraser. Welcome, Elvis.
Hello, good morning. How are you?
I'm great. Now, some of you may know from the last name or picked up a hint that this is my beloved husband, my partner, my life partner. And I am so excited to have you on as my first guest in 2026. And Elvis is the founder and managing director of Sankofa Consulting. And, I'm going to let him introduce himself. And one thing, I'll let you introduce yourself first, and then we'll go from there.
Well, good morning. It's a pleasure to be here, folks, and I feel like an honored guest. I am Elvis, and I'm married to this wonderful lady here, and I am also the parent of two children and now two grandchildren, two baby girls. Professionally, I am a trained socioeconomist. I have worked in academia. I've worked in applied research, mostly on the international development side. And 9 years ago, almost, I founded a consulting firm, mostly just to do my own work at this stage in my life. But then it grew into a company. Now we happily keep about 25 to 30 people employed, working on a lot of interesting projects across multiple sectors across the world.
Wow.
We do analytics and research, evaluation, and the like. I'll say more maybe later, but suffice to say that I was born, might be able to tell I have an accent. I was born in Jamaica, grew up there, and came to this country perhaps to meet this lady that I'm talking to. And the rest is history.
The rest is history. Well, and future. Wow. Thanks, Elvis, for that introduction. And, just one thing I want to say is that with your work, you uh, build community. And one thing I've seen is how when you are, your work takes you all over the world. But also, just over COVID, I had the opportunity to see how you work with your team. and how at least I could overhear part of your work, and just I was just so inspired by the team building that it sounds like is going on with your team, and that's just so important when we're doing important work in community building, whether it be internationally, locally, or in your own team. But one thing I wanted to ask was, you know, we came to Washington State because of your work, and it sounded like you had a pretty good gig. So what prompted you to transition into something new?
Good question. Multiple things. I think I got to a point in my life and career where I felt a need to change some things. I was happily working for a global foundation, a very large foundation, and I was doing work that was interesting in terms of helping to make the world a better place. But I also, and it was very exciting, I must add, but I got to a point where I wanted to make some different decisions on the kinds of things that I wanted to work on and how I wanted to operate in terms of engage with people and have more decision making autonomy
Mm.
and control. So I thought it would be good to shift that and focus on working on things that I wanted to work on. So it was more motivation to explore new talents, new skills, and build some new relationships.
Wow. Did what was the reaction of your peers? I mean,
Well, in part, it was also changes going on in the organization that created the opportunity for the change. And so it happened in some ways because there was that change in my organization. And so it created this new opportunity. I wasn't sure how it was going to play out. And I think
mhm,
the people around me were supportive because they knew and probably saw in me
mm,
the potential to do what I wanted to do and to create a new consulting, operation. And so they were more encouraging than I felt at that point. At that point, I was just so, uncertain about how it would take off and if it would really survive. And but that goes to show you sometimes people see more in you than sometimes you see
yes,
in yourself.
yes, that's so true. So it's been, gosh, 8+ years now that
Hmm.
you've been doing this. So wow, there must be something you're doing. Something that's going well, something you're doing right. Wow. Well, what are some of the perks and drawbacks of doing your own thing?
Um, Before I answer that question, I think it's something I'm doing well, but it's also a function of the people and the networks that I'm part of. I would say I would not have been successful as I have been, as a company has been, had it not been for the network, the global network, and the relationships.
Mm,
And
mm-hmm,
so I want to just underscore that I
mm-hmm.
might. It's a lot of work that I put in, but it's also a function of the relationships I've built up over the years.
Yes, yes.
What are the perks? Perks are many in the sense that, yes, it's a lot of autonomy to shape the organization the way I want to shape it, to build an organization that is the opposite and in some way contrasts to some of the the experiences that I've had that weren't so constructive in places that I've
Mm,
worked. And so when I set out to build the firm, I thought I wanted it to be a place where young people, could find, a safe place to explore, to try new things, to get mentored, to grow into their full skill sets. And so that opportunity to shape a culture, shape an organization, but it's also fun to continue to do work that is part of making the world a better place. And
Yes.
so, as you mentioned, I work on education, health, environment. The company does all that, and it's really in service of advancing what the motto of the company is evaluation in service of equity. So all we do is really about helping vulnerable populations
Mm,
across the globe to have access to whatever they need to improve their lives and their
such important work. Such important work. Something you said earlier about the relationships you've built along the way and how that has benefited the organization and the work that you're doing. A lot of times in the podcast, I'll talk about having your people,
Mhm.
and that goes far beyond just your friendships and families. But there's so many times that we don't recognize the supports of organizations or groups of people. And we don't really, sometimes it's after the fact that we notice that, wow, they put in a good word for me, or, they've supported me with this or that. But I think it's so important to take a step back and acknowledge those helpers along the way. So I'm glad you mentioned that. Wow, great. Well, I think that's enough talk about business. Uh, I'm curious. I would like you to share a little bit about what you do for fun, because it's important to have that balance. You work hard. I mean, one thing I noticed over COVID, again, in regard to not just overhearing how you work, but you talk all day long, like all day long. So all these years I've been thinking, oh, he don't want to talk when you get home from work. I'm like, he don't want to talk to me. He just never wants to talk to me. What I realized, you're talking all day long. So I'm figuring that at least some of those times you didn't want to talk to me was because you were just tired. But with that said, I know that you work hard. So what do you do for fun or to relax?
So I take seriously my self care. My I do yoga, I cook, I garden when the weather is good. I like to connect with people. When I meet people, I engage in conversations. You know that I've never met a stranger.
Mm,
So for me, it's fun to explore new relationships, um, you know, new connections. But the fun part of things, I cook. You know that. And
yes, I
so
do, and I benefit from it. I should be a lot heavier than what I am. But anyway.
the process of cooking is therapeutic. It's creative. It's a way for me to explore different places, cultures, and things along the way. So that it's more than just putting food in a pot. It's really a journey
Mm,
to think about what I'm doing and where it comes from, and the process of just exploring. It's adventurous. So that's my biggest the thing that I do pretty much almost daily.
yes,
And
and
then
let
of
me tell
course,
you, it's not all Jamaican food, even though he can throw down on Jamaican food. But this man, uh, as I said, I trust me, he's got some skills. Okay, sorry to interrupt. Uh,
so yeah, I mean, one of the things I like is traveling and exploring cultures, and food is one way to do that. And so it's not uncommon for me to travel to a place and come home and try to recreate part of that experience through the food. So that's really an important thing for me. So traveling is fun. I like traveling. I think the adventure. Last year, I took a impromptu trip to Cuba, and that was very
wow.
much um, something that I enjoy and want to do more of. Just basically go to places that are different from the ones I'm used to culturally and otherwise. So I like exploring, and I do that in my, in my reading, what the articles I read.
Mm.
I'm also a news junkie, so I read a lot of news of different kind. I consume a lot of information, probably some
With
useful, some useless.
Yeah, with that said, I mean, a lot of folks are consumed by the news and it's impacting their mood, their stress level. And I must say that I don't see that in you. How do you handle that?
Yeah. Well, first of all, you have to filter things out. You have to basically take in what's meaningful and useful. And when
Mm-hmm.
things become stressful, you have to basically limit that. When I feel like something is toxic and raising
Mm,
my anxiety and all that, I move on to something else. So I try to balance the intake of the things that make me feel whole and
mm,
nurture my soul.
mm-hmm,
So
mm-hmm.
I'll shift from reading. You know me. I like historical information. I like things about nature. I like anything that immerses me in a new culture, a new place.
Yeah.
I like that.
Yeah.
So
And, I was going to say that, just in regard to the intake of news, um, and how you filter and, get the information that you need, that's part of self-care.
yeah.
And you said that self-care piece is really important to you. What kind of, I mean, I'm just thinking of how, it's the new year. A lot of people are thinking of starting something
Mm,
new or continuing something from 2025 that was serving them well. And maybe they're having some issues with sticking to a program or anything. Do you have any suggestions or, some things that you do that help you stay
mhm.
on track of what you really want
Yeah.
to get done?
I am a creature of habit in a lot of ways,
Mm,
and for me, it's not how much that I do, but how consistently I do things, especially as
mm,
it comes to self care. And so, for instance, my physical activity, my yoga or staying active. Sometimes it's for my body, sometimes it's for my mind, but I always create a space for it. I
mm-hmm.
make it a priority.
Yeah, yeah.
Oftentimes, we see, the most important thing as our work or this and that, and the rest of things that we really want to do to change our lives basically fills they just, it's the downtime, it's outside of what we consider core priorities for ourselves. But
Mm-hmm.
for me, I make those things part of my routine, part of my daily, how I plan my day.
Right,
So I
right.
don't say in the morning, if I have time, I will go and get some activity. If I have time, I might go to yoga. No, I schedule it in. And sometimes I cancel
Right.
other things just to make sure I have that time. So
Yes,
that
yes.
would be my recommendation to folks, just to make it a priority. Put it in your schedule, in your agenda, and not just if I get there, because we know we won't do it.
Right. If you're not motivated, then it ain't gonna happen.
No, it's not going to
But if,
happen.
if you've planned it and you become disciplined to following through on your plan, then it can happen consistently. That's a very
and
good point.
and I get to the point where I actually visualize it. So
Mm,
I visualize me doing it. So before I do the thing, it played through my head what I'm going to do, and I actually like prepare my bag with my yoga stuff or prepare something, my water to go. So already I'm investing in it. So by the time it
yes.
comes around, I'm mentally invested, and I've actually taken some steps to
So there's a
actually.
whole routine before you even step on the mat,
Absolutely,
as they say. Hmm.
absolutely. or else it won't happen.
Yes, yes. I like the visualization part. I don't always do that. And I find that, like many of us, motivation comes and goes, but it's that discipline piece. I think putting it on my schedule, like as if it's a doctor's appointment, something that I'm
Mhm.
not going to miss, or, so a hot date with somebody, then, I'm not going to miss that. But so often we can kind of miss the dates with ourselves. And so the way you approach your self-care routine is a great reminder to me, to schedule it, and to start out with taking care of myself, so I can take care of other people if I want to. Yeah.
Absolutely.
Wow. Oh, well, this has been great. So before we end, I just wanted to ask you if you have a theme or a word or something in 2026 that you are going to be focusing on.
Yeah, I've been thinking about this the last few weeks, and I think it's really being present for the things that I'm doing, and by that I mean really enjoying them, really leaning into them, and being fully present.
Mm,
I think you know it's easy to get distracted from things because there's just too much going on in my head, or trying to do multiple things at the same time, so things get half done. So I think for this year I really want to be more present and fully experience what I'm doing, and in the moment that I'm doing
mm,
it.
mm-hmm.
And when I'm with my staff, with friends, with you, with anyone, just to be fully appreciative of that encounter, and really being focusing on it.
Yes, yes.
I wanted
Good
I
one.
think that's part of, I must say I learned a lot of that from my yoga practice, the whole idea of being present,
Mm-hmm.
not thinking about the next movement that's coming, the next form, but really focusing on what is going on in the moment. And I've been practicing
Appreciating the
that,
moment. That's very.
appreciating the moment and getting the full experience out of the moment. So
Mhm.
that is something that I want to be more intentional about throughout 2026 in all spheres of my life: work, family, relationships, and the like.
Yes. Oh, that's a good one. It's hard to worry when you're in the moment, worry about the future or the past when you're experiencing intentionally,
Yeah.
uh, living in that present moment, and being aware of that present moment. That's awesome. Wow. Well, Elvis,
Yes,
thank you
ma'am.
so much for being here. I, I'm gonna keep you right here. I'm not gonna put you back in the room, in the waiting room as I close out. But I really appreciate you coming on, and um,
It's an honor.
as as you all can tell, that Elvis Fraser is one of my people, and just having someone who will keep it real, but can be encouraging, but um, knows me well enough to know what I can do, even if I don't know I can do it, or sees things in me that I don't always see. It's good to have that person in your life, and I am blessed to have this guy. So, but tomorrow, so I really appreciate you being here, Elvis. I love you, appreciate you, and I am so happy you could be my first guest in 2026. So, for everybody, I will be having a podcast tomorrow morning, my regular scheduled podcast at 8:15 a.m. And I have another special guest tomorrow. Gina Ranaya will be joining me, uh, having conversations that many Generation X folks are having, and just some of her upcoming projects. So I hope you can tune in for that. My guest tomorrow morning, and I'll be. I hope that you got some value from today, and I hope that you all have a great rest of your Sunday. I look forward to seeing you tomorrow. And as I always remind you, to unleash your brilliance, uncover your light. The world is waiting for you. The world is waiting for your gift and what you have to offer. So take care, everybody. I'll see you tomorrow.
Thank you.
Thanks, Elvis.
All right. Thank you.